Welcome to the stream. My name is Haz. I'm here joined by my friend Robbie.
Hey there. What's up?
If you just caught the other stream that we did, we talked about Robbie's upcoming musical for that he's making. So I'd highly encourage you to check that out in my
Beautiful Resistance.
live videos. Yeah, it's called The Beautiful Resistance. And today we're actually practicing another form of resistance, a very closely adjacent form through a social experiment. So this is a sign that I'm holding. It says, "Come participate in a social experiment." And the idea is basically to get people to stop and have a chat about animals. And hopefully I'll convince them that they care about the animals who they may be exploiting still. So that is the plan. For the last few times I've used this prompt about burn victims. So the idea has been like asking people if they've heard about research that exploits dogs for burn research, where scientists will shave a dog, like shave a patch of fur off, and then burn the dog with a metal plate, and then test the healing of the burn for burn research. And that actually seems to be a really good way to get people kind of
stimulate the conversation.
Yeah.
Hello.
So I think that's what I'll do. I see some cool vegans here.
You and Yarkovsky briefly talked about that, didn't you?
I'm sorry?
You and Yarkovsky briefly talked about that.
Gary, Gary also mentioned some research that apparently involved, I don't know why the screen is so dim. He had mentioned some research that was done where dogs were apparently dipped into kerosene and then lit on fire. At least one dog was. I wasn't able to find that, but he did tell me actually who had done it according to him too. So, but yeah, it's
totally different.
However it's done, it's obviously really messed up when we don't need to do it. I see some awesome vegans here. I see Carrie and Martin is here. I think I saw someone else here too, but thank you guys for being here. So I'm gonna go ahead and hold the sign, and we'll see.
Do you want me to hold it? Would that make it easier?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's also always interesting to see kind of the looks that people give you when you hold the sign. Would you like to participate? All right, great. So I'm just going to basically ask you some questions and see kind of how you think about some different questions. And I am live on YouTube. Are you okay to be live on my YouTube channel? Okay, would you mind coming into the frame here? Sure. All right, so I'm here with my friend Robert also. What's your guys' names?
Hello, I'm Noah.
Noah, what's your name?
Anastasia.
And would you mind coming a little bit further into the frame there?
It's a nice backdrop of you.
Yes. Yeah, so my name is Haz, and my channel on YouTube is called Haz Vegan. And Robert, maybe I'll give you the sign here. Thanks. And I'm kind of annoyed, I guess, about something that I heard about recently, where apparently in some kind of research on burns, like burn healing, dogs were tested on for the research, where basically scientists like shaved part of a dog, like their fur, and then burned them with a hot plate. And they were seeing, how does the dog's burn kind of react to the burn, or how does the healing happen, basically. Maybe they were testing, like, I'm not sure exactly what they were even trying to develop. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that, though.
Well, I am a dog person, especially because my brother owns 2 pets, and when he always comes over, I'm taking care of them when he goes out all the time, or babysitting them. But any social experiments against experiments against dogs does not sit right with me. I would be very much upset with you as well, and I did not hear about that. So I am 100% against that.
Yeah, do you share the same opinion?
No, yes, of course. Was this recent, or how?
I'm not sure how recent it was. I've heard of all sorts of different experiments that involve dogs particularly. I mean, I was actually a part of a protest at Northwestern, actually, nearby. This was maybe over 10 years ago, but this was about their use of beagles in experimentation. I can't speak for Northwestern in particular, but I know that in a lot of the research, the animals are also sacrificed at the end of the experimentation. So, yeah, so this happens to like monkeys as well. For example, like they'll be infected with diseases like hepatitis, stuff like that, and then they'll be euthanized at the end, dissected, things like that, studied. It's horrific. Wouldn't you agree?
I absolutely agree with you. Animal testing, especially when I was in. When I go to college at Wilbur Wright, one of my teachers was an activist against experimenting and against animals and dissections and all that stuff. So it's a little overwhelming to hear about what they do, especially with a lot of facilities and how they treat the animals, and after they just discard them like nothing. So honestly, it's very, very unfortunate that it still goes on today, especially with all sorts of animals still, even dogs, cats, any household animals. So yes, very unfortunate. Very
It seems like you're really able to, it seems like you're really aware of the perspective of those victims, right? Like the animal outlook, so to speak. Like they have this horrible stuff happening to them, and it's almost like they can't get out of it, right? No matter what they do, they're trapped in cages. And it's almost, would you agree that it's kind of like very frustrating that the people who are inflicting this on them are able to be spoken with? Like they would understand us if they heard us say like, hey, could you maybe not do this to these animals? Like they are suffering in this exploitative process. But they won't listen, you know.
And it's kind of crazy to think about too. How most of them, like them and their families, have pets too of their own. They'll still be experiencing stuff like that, going back to their job in corporation, and they'll do it on many corporations actually, like big ones. I forgot which one, but they did do a lot of animal testing, severe animal testing, where they would leave them alive for months, infecting them with diseases and all kinds of stuff like that. And it's scary that they go on normally doing that stuff, and they'll go home and they have pets of their own, or even their families. So it actually is it's horrifying to think about. It's very horrifying.
Cognitive dissonance and the hypocrisy. Yeah, it's almost shocking because it's so evident that they're just being so hypocritical when they're effectively dissecting a live animal, causing it such an extreme amount of suffering, but then they go home to their own animal. Exactly. They would never dream of doing that. Yeah.
Horrifying.
And their own animal might even be a dog,
exactly,
another dog.
While they go to their job and they're seeing and writing down with the charts and all that stuff about what was happening to the animals that they were testing on. Yeah.
Would you guys consider yourselves animal rights advocates then?
Unfortunately, no. I wouldn't consider. I don't pursue that enough to call myself an animal rights activist. But I firmly stand with animal activists. So.
Okay.
I'm wondering. Do you want to ask something?
No, I was just going to ask. So, how do you feel about then animals in the agricultural business? In industrial agriculture, like chickens and cows that are in these industrial farms where they never see the light of day, and they live in just the most horrific conditions where they suffer immensely. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Even with they say with like only grass-fed cows and the certain things they do with chickens, like anything with that. Unfortunately, no matter what's said that they do that is good, it's still always going to be bad. They always treat usually all the animals the same on farms, no matter what.
Their property.
Yeah, exactly. They'll say that they do certain things to make sure they're healthier and have better living conditions, but in the end, we still don't see that, and it's still all the same, no matter what. So when it comes to agricultural for the animals, it's all the same. It's brutal, but it's how it's been for us to get our food and our source. So obviously they're not going to stop with that.
Something that I think is kind of a correlated topic too, when you mention like the people going home to the animals who they might live with, the slaughterhouse workers in the so-called animal ag are basically, unfortunately inflicting violence, like horrible violence on animals, to the extent that it's actually something that traumatizes a lot of the people exacting the violence. And then it's been shown that with people who work in slaughterhouses, there are higher rates of what's called PITS specifically, like perpetrator-induced traumatic stress. So it's kind of like it's almost like the PTSD equivalent, but it's from the perspective of the perpetrator, and higher rates of like drug use, drug addiction, and alcoholism as well.
For the workers, those factors.
Yes.
Yeah. And also it has the highest level of turnover. Like slaughterhouse kill worker is actually the job that people stay in for the shortest amount of time. And also one of the jobs with the highest rates, if not the job with the highest rates of on-site injury. Something like maybe 40% of people get physically, like severely injured to the point where they have to actually stop doing it for some period of time, because you're working with like large animal
and they're always
that,
and also you're dealing with the animals themselves that are frantic because they're literally being held captive and they're about to be killed. So they're moving, they're going for, so you can easily get hurt. But yes, when it comes to those factories, sadly, I have seen one of those videos of an animal of a cow factory where they use it for the meat, and it makes sense why they get PTSD and they have all this messed up stuff with their head because of the screams of the animals, all the blood, and I can assume the smell is absolutely horrifying and disgusting. So I could absolutely see why the animals or why the workers there have the highest turnover rates with PTSD and even with workplace injuries because they're not in the right state of mind when they end. That's why they end up getting hurt a lot too. So
you guys are really educated and articulate concerning this issue. That's really impressive. So, have either of you ever? I mean, obviously, you know what veganism is, right?
yeah, my mom's a vegan. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, have you considered it? Because you obviously understand the suffering that goes on in these abattoirs and these slaughterhouses.
I absolutely have considered it, especially because not for short term, for long term health goals. Many people have been vegan and have had amazing physical health and mental health as well, eating healthy. So yes, I do want to become vegan. Yes, but I grew up definitely not. I'm Mexican. Grew up in a meat kind of household. That was my entire life. But definitely becoming vegan is something I absolutely do want to do.
And what about you?
I would consider it, yeah. Also raised Mexican, and my grandmother always cooks pork, always cooks meat, and so yes. So, but only recently I've started cooking for myself, and I'm like big on like cottage cheese, big on other alternatives to find because like
Vegan cottage cheese.
Okay. But
You can definitely make cottage cheese from tofu, smashed tofu.
there's a tofu.
Yeah.
She loves. So you love tofu.
I'm big on tofu. I've tried things that I've never tried before, and like for tofu, I would never eat it before, but I'm all into it now. Like a tofu scramble in the morning.
Good for
I love
you.
that. So I would consider it.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you know
and
the health benefits can definitely be. You can have amazing health benefits, but I also want to stress the fact that you can be vegan and just eat Oreos, and maybe not Oreos, but because there's some issues with potentially the sugar and other adjacent issues. But let's just say you can eat donuts and vegan ice cream and vegan cheese all day, and drink soda. And, you wouldn't be improving your health most likely unless you were eating even worse before that. So really, the point is that there's this like ethical foundation of not exploiting other animals, because as we were talking about earlier, when they're used as property, the welfare of the animal just plummets because it's just a matter of like basically keeping them alive or keeping them intact enough that they can be sold for a profit because nobody wants like bruised meat basically. I think, but we mentioned Mexican food. Actually, Mexican food is some of the easiest food to veganize because a lot of it is combinations of like fresh vegetables with kind of like a corn or a wheat like base.
They use mushrooms to like implicate like carnitas. They'll use mushrooms with a lot of seasoning, and it comes out pretty well.
I'll tell you, soy chorizo is fantastic. Like Trader Joe's soy chorizo is the
Spicy.
bomb. It's so good. And have you guys ever eaten at Penelope's? It's a vegan taqueria. They've got like four locations now. Or
Are you guys local?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So there's one in River North. There's one in Andersonville. I think there's one in
by
Pilsen.
Yeah. Oh, Pilsen. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, there's a lot of vegan.
Is there one in
vegan
Pilsen?
Mexican-
I don't know.
I thought it was down by
Maybe I'm.
Midway.
Okay, I think I'm thinking of a different.
Yeah, I think there's one down by Midway that's close to Cicero. Yeah, and I live in Berwyn. There's one just due south of Berwyn, but it's still a part of Chicago. You know how Chicago kind of jets out?
Yeah, like by Cermak in Harlem.
Yeah, exactly.
There's also a vegetarian Mexican restaurant. I think it's a Mexican restaurant. Quesadilla La Reina del Sur.
Yeah, I'm in Ducktown. Yeah,
There's also one. I think they have a Pilsen location.
and they have lots of vegan options as well. But I do want to say this, I mean, my parents were both farmers, and I mean, we didn't eat meat 3 times a day. We ate it 4 times a day. It was our snack after school. You know what I mean? So I understand that context of it just being a part of your culture. Because where I grew up downstate in central Illinois, I mean, we were all farmers, and we just ate meat. My uncles had an Angus cow farm, But when you start thinking about it from an ethical perspective, that's when you really start thinking, okay, but is this right or wrong? Just because something's been done for thousands of years doesn't necessarily make it right. Like women have been raped for thousands of years. Is that right? No.
And that actually happens to animals in these industries too, like the way they get them pregnant, like cows, turkeys, pigs. I don't. Are you guys both over 18, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So they just. I always like to make sure it's a sensitive subject, obviously, but yeah, they'll inseminate them with like first they have to collect semen, obviously. So they either do that by hand, which I'm not gonna. You can imagine. I don't need to get any further into that.
Pretty much bestiality.
Yeah. There's actually exemptions in the laws against bestiality for animal husbandry. So legislators have actually had to like carve out an exception in order for this animal farming stuff to continue. Because they have to get the semen. They do that somehow by hand. They can do it rectally as well. On the males, and then they have to basically insert it into the female. There's gloves that farmers will wear that go up to the shoulder. I'm sorry.
Vet techs use that for horses.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So and even if you think about just like milk, for example, it's a fluid that a mom makes for her baby. So every drop that a human consumes is one that the baby wasn't able to consume. And these cows, they've been selectively bred in a way where they produce so much milk, and people say, oh, they'll be in pain if we don't milk them. But of course, they wouldn't be pregnant if we didn't impregnate them in the first place, and they wouldn't have this painful condition if we hadn't bred them to produce so much milk in the first place.
Literally, we are the only species, and this is shocking when you really think about it. Especially like from. By the way, did you say you went to Wilbur Wright?
What was it?
What college did you go to? Did you
Wilbur Wright.
Wilbur Wright up on the northwest side? Yeah. Okay, I know exactly where that's at. Yeah, it's up on like Central, right? Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, to think of this, I mean, from an anthropological perspective, we are the only species on the planet. And this is shocking. We're the only one that drinks the milk of other species, right? I mean, that's really kind of messed up. And other species, once they're done weaning, right? Once they're done weaning from their mother, they don't drink that milk anymore either.
Milk is for babies.
It's for babies.
Like literally.
They need to build them up to get them stronger.
Right. So cow milk is literally for calves. It's for baby cows. And then once they're weaned, they just drink water.
It's just like, dolphin milk is for baby dolphins, and bonobo milk is for baby bonobos and all that. So
what's keeping you from going vegan? You obviously have thought about it cerebrally,
I guess just like how there are certain foods that when I'm feeling, I'm craving it. I need to eat it. No, it sounds wrong, but that's.
Do you need to though?
I guess. What are those foods?
I mean,
it's cool.
It's gonna be like burgers and stuff, like burgers, Like I love burgers.
Well, have you had an Impossible Burger? The vegan?
No, I've never had an Impossible.
Interesting thing with burgers, I thought about this. Like at one point, I was like, a burger is like a bun. You have your like ketchup, relish, pickle, mustard, tomato, lettuce, onion, pickles. I think maybe I already said that. But there's so many things. Like if you imagine how many things make up the thickness of a burger, and then there's just the patty, which like can be like a black bean patty, or as Robbie mentioned, like a more of a plant-based alternative.
Yeah, my mom's on those black bean patties.
Well, you can go to Burger King and because you know what Impossible Burgers are.
And then Burger King does have them.
Yeah. So when you get that craving, technically you could get the vegan version at Burger King.
I'll try it just because you mentioned it. I'll try it. When I go next time, when we're craving a burger, I'll do that.
I'll tell you this, my niece is in town this weekend for Lollapalooza, right? And we, so I picked them up on Friday night, and they were hungry. So we went to Burger King, and they had never tried the Impossible Burger before. This just happened. What is today, Saturday?
Yeah.
So yeah, just last night. Hard to believe. But they tried it for the first time, her and her friend. And they both said, this tastes exactly like a hamburger. They're like, I can't tell the difference. So if you knew it tasted just like a regular hamburger, why not do it?
Yeah, I would say it even like tastes better. Like, if I'm at Chipotle or something and I accidentally get a piece of animal like in my food, I immediately feel this like heaviness from it, like almost like a rotting type of flavor. I mean it's just textures ultimately. Like, and I would say if you think about like how much is the inconvenience of you needing to transition your taste buds or get used to a slightly different texture or something like that versus the inconvenience that the animal would experience if you paid for paid for them to be exploited. Because every time you make a vegan choice, you're actually not saving any animals per se. You're just preventing more animals from being bred into existence to be exploited. So you're basically saving future animals. Just like, if you see a piece of a cow at a restaurant, you're not actually going to be able to save that cow by not eating them, right? The cow is dead. But by not giving money into that system, you are preventing more animals from being kind of used in that like supply chain.
You're making a statement with your choices.
So thank you guys for stopping.
We
kept you, but I'd like to give you guys a leaflet, and
Did you grow up there?
this just has some information about kind of easier ways to make choices. And again, my channel is Haas Vegan. If you guys want to check it out on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, you guys can see yourselves on.
Yeah, I know. I was waving at it earlier. I was like, hi.
Yeah, so it's Haas Vegan.
So it's just my name, HAZ, and then the word vegan, all one word.
Haas Vegan?
Yes, yeah. And I'd recommend also, there's a speech on YouTube. It's called The Best Speech You'll Ever Hear. It's by an activist named Gary Yourofsky, and it's very firm, but it's firm in a way that I think a lot of people feel that they need to hear. It's almost like refreshingly firm, if that makes sense. And also, there's translations to multiple languages, including Spanish. So if you search like Gary speech, best speech you'll ever hear. Oh, awesome! Thank you. And you can type like Espanol, for example, if you have like family members who maybe are more Spanish dominant compared to English. Because if you go vegan, hopefully, which you will, then you start hearing excuses from other people. And I have to say, with you guys, it's been refreshingly absent in the excuse department. Like you guys just
you've been
extremely
brutally
receptive.
honest with yourself. That's
Honest,
really
yeah.
And let me just say this, I've been a vegan for 16, 17 years now. I mean this sincerely, without an ounce of hyperbole or exaggeration. Best decision I ever made. Heart, body, soul, and mind kind of thing.
And you don't have to be a hypocrite if you call yourself somebody who believes in rights for animals or justice for animals. It's literally putting your ethics where your mouth is. Yeah.
So you can truly say, I really love animals. And be like, yeah, and I act that out.
Yeah, the biggest regret of vegans is actually not going vegan sooner. Like I've been vegan almost 13 years now, and I just wish that I had woken up to the fact that I was responsible for horrific deaths and suffering of animals.
You guys are really aware. This has been really refreshing.
Thank you guys so much.
Hopefully our future conversations today are just as refreshing.
Of course. You guys have a good one.
Thank you for stopping.
Talk to you soon.
All right, enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye, you guys.
Great.
That was a good conversation. They were so receptive. Let's see what our viewers are saying here. Hippos, thanks Alicia for your support. Yes, smash the like button if you haven't yet. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. It helps out the algorithm a lot. Carrie says hippos have the largest canine teeth in our herbivores. Carrie, they do have huge canines. I will say, I've heard that the animal with the largest canines relative to their body size is actually the fruit bat. It's like they're a tiny little bat with like huge fangs. But yeah, I think hippos maybe have the largest by volume, maybe not relative to the body.
That's right. Yeah.
Lewis says teeth don't. I think he meant do not determine whom or what you choose to eat. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you all for being here.
It's fantastic.
And my battery is getting down a little bit. It's at 34, so I'm gonna actually. Okay, yeah. So I think maybe can we have try for one more conversation? Okay, I think we can make it. Turn the brightness down a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see if anyone else is willing to stop by here. And thank you to everybody for taking the time to be here and for participating in the chat. The messages that you send in the chat also help with the algorithm and push the video out to more people. So more people can hopefully hear these conversations and then can relate to the conversations. If they're not yet vegan, they might be able to empathize with animals in a different way. Especially seeing other people making the connection and moving more toward plant-based living and veganism. So I think you're covering the sign just a little bit there. There we go. So we'll see if we can get some people to stop.
Jazz background.
Yeah, I like being able to provide you guys with some music enjoyment. We've got some saxophone in the background here. Oh, I love the song, Pure Imagination.
Yes, that's it.
It's from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Anything you wish to do it. Want to change the world. There's nothing to it. Oh, nice. Yes. World of pure imagination. Maybe we should we switch places? Because maybe I don't know if it's I don't know if people I want the sign to be the last thing people see maybe instead of me. I don't know. The sign, Alicia saying, what does the sign say? The sign says, come participate in a social experiment, and then there's a question mark at the end. In a world of pure imagination. So yeah, it's a nice day. The weather is quite nice out. It's probably going to be our last conversation here, so we'll see if we'll squeeze one more conversation in. And hopefully there'll be a good one. There'll be a good participant here.
You want to be interviewed?
It helps. I think the best thing is just to make this kind of awkward eye contact with people. That's what I found works the best. Kind of like not aggressive eye contact, but just like they see the sign and they read it and they think about it. And then if you're looking at them too, they're like, am I already in this social experiment? So thanks to everyone who is here. I appreciate your kind words, Alicia. Yeah, Louis, the screen is just reversed for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, that is a little bit annoying for sure. So basically, we got to rely on people's curiosity here. That's the face. That's the face right there that you need. That kind of like little smirk with the little bit of stoicism. You got it down. That's like
it comes naturally for me, I guess. All right, let's do it.
All right, we got to participate.
Come on, all right, we're on. Okay.
You want to talk something?
Well, you want to be okay to do this?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, so we're live on YouTube. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, say hi.
Okay, so yeah, if you guys want to maybe come into the frame a little more here. I want to ask you guys. It's been kind of hot out lately, and people are trying to avoid sunburns, things like that. And some research recently came to my attention where scientists were actually testing certain treatments for burns on dogs. So the dogs are basically being like shaven with something. And are you guys both over 18, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Just checking. So it's a little bit of a tender subject. So the dogs are being shaven and then burned with a hot plate. So I'm not sure actually about the anesthesia part. But in any case, the dog has to heal from it, and so I'm wondering what you guys think about that. Like, if it comes with the benefit of potentially making like new treatments for humans,
No.
not worth it.
No, I mean, just because they can't talk doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, they
pain
can.
receptors. Like that stuff hurts. That sounds like it hurts. A hot plate.
Yeah. But if somebody said, well, if we do this, then let's say a human is like, cooking, like they're boiling corn on the cob in a pressure cooker, and something goes wrong with the lid, and they get burned or something like that. Or I don't know if you've seen The Dark Knight, the Batman movie, where like Harvey Dent becomes Two-Face, and half his face gets like burned and stuff. Like maybe they could develop something, and he would.
It just doesn't seem worth it.
Doesn't seem worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
humans,
it's
if anything.
No,
Like,
not humans.
But I'm saying, like, if it's okay to use dogs, why don't you use humans? What's the difference?
Well, I think
Both have
there's something
souls.
unique about humans where both have souls. That's an interesting perspective. Humans can consent, right? Like humans can.
Yeah.
It's grim, but a human can be like, all right, do I really need this $2,000? Maybe it's worth it. If they have like rent is coming up and they're short on cash, and they're like, I could be okay with a burn scar on my leg or
where
something
the dog
like that.
isn't benefiting in any way.
Right.
They're just being penalized.
Okay, let me ask you this thing. So what I'm hearing from you guys is that effectively to be experimenting on an animal without its consent is immoral, right?
Yeah.
It's wrong. Okay.
I think so.
then let me ask you this, and let's take that a step further. When it comes to animal food, right? So you've heard about industrial farming, right? These places where cows, chickens, pigs, they are literally crammed into spaces that are unimaginable. They don't see the light of day. Right? They don't see the light of day. They suffer immensely, and then they're butchered. They're butchered and made into meat that is sold to be eaten. What are your thoughts on that then? Is that allowable when it's not allowable for animals to be tested upon for medical purposes?
I think they should be like. I think it's okay, but I think there should be things that be changed. Like I said, no sunlight, or like they do be crammed. I've seen videos.
I'm sorry, our
Sorry
Uber's
about
here.
that.
I'm sorry to leave,
No, we-
but
You gotta go?
yeah, we have
Okay.
an Uber.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, we're
We give you guys a
vegans.
leaflet.
Just
Yeah.
consider veganism.
Thank
And also
you.
consider, if I could just give you guys a thought experiment too, with like a humanely raised dog meat example. You know what you think about that, like free range dogs, like pug bacon and
Probably wouldn't do it.
bark on.
Probably not good. I mean, I don't
Point is,
know.
think about your values and putting them into practice, right? If you love animals, you got to love all animals. So
Yeah.
you really got to think about. And there's millions of us vegans that are healthy, happy, and we're
It's
crazy.
16 years for you, right?
16. I've been a vegan for 16
Almost
years.
13 for
Yeah,
me.
and there's vegans that have been vegans for 25, 35 years, and it's mind, body, and soul. Best decision you'll ever make.
Yes, sir.
Something we're
consider
gonna
it,
have
all
to
right?
think
Appreciate
about.
Great talking to you
Thank
guys.
you.
Yeah, thank you guys for
Have a
stopping.
great
And I'd recommend watching the documentary Dominion. It's available on YouTube, Dominion 2018. And if you want to watch this later, my channel's called Haas Vegan.
Yes, you can see yourself.
Yeah, it's HAZ. That's loud.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys for
Awesome.
stopping by.
Go see yourself.
Yeah, it's one word. Have a great day. All right, I think that was a pretty good conversation too. That was a very loud honk from the ambulance there, but hopefully whoever they're going to save or whoever's in the ambulance is safe. And if you want to come in, we can say our goodbye. So we're going to be wrapping it up now. So
That was another really good conversation, by the way.
Yeah, I
It was
agree.
cut short because they had to go get their Uber, but both those sets of conversations were really positive.
Yeah, I think all four people we've talked to have been really receptive. So this was great. So thank you to all the viewers here, everybody who has tuned in. And if you haven't liked the stream yet, please do so. It helps the channel a lot. And, just keep being a voice for animals, because, they need us. And maybe Robbie will join me again. Maybe he'll start his own YouTube channel. And
Well, there will be one eventually for the beautiful resistance. At some point.
amazing. So, yeah, and if you didn't catch our previous stream, do check that out. And yeah, hopefully we see you guys all again soon. Many thanks to everybody for being here. Alicia says thanks, Robbie. Yeah, thank you guys all for being here as well.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Have a good